then I know that like my next 5 matches, I'm gonna get destroyed.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
And that certainly happens a lot. So I guess who I normally, well, I don't really have like a main killer either. I really do like to play a lot of different killers.
Good.
To me,
Yeah.
it's boring to play like the same killer over and over again.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have a main, but like for example, my first couple games as Oni ever, I had like 3-4 Ks in a row,
Okay.
and now it's been many hours, and I've barely even gotten like a hook as Oni.
Got it.
Like it's just crazy.
Got
But
it.
I know overall I really need to improve looping, and then I'm also pretty bad at like getting turned around with 360s.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's just actually. I think I might go on. I think what we could do is I could play killer perspective first, and then you could play survivor, and just so you can kind of see from like that side, and then we could just swap it, and then we can kind of talk about it there. All right. So let me see here. Okay. Do that. So yeah. Looping. Here, yeah. So obviously, a lot of the killers have different play styles, have different. Yeah, you can just right up. Obviously, the killers have different play styles, have different different abilities and all that stuff that kind of somewhat alter like the formula, so to speak, for like traditional looping. But a lot of the killers. But like the pathing and stuff is the same for certain loops and looping killers. And then as far as like from a killer perspective, like being able to know to distinguish between like the different tiles on the map, and knowing your killer's limits, and knowing like, okay, this tile is extremely strong, and I need to like not pursue this chase anymore, stuff like that. That's like a big it shows a lot of, you need to have a lot of discipline with that, and need to know about and if there is a way to get around it, it's, you have to know how to, what way you need to basically run the survivor to make it so that they don't have the optimal looping path. So we could just start in the. I'm trying to see here.
Perfect. And I just found you, so here I am.
Alright, cool.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't want to get in chase with you because I don't want the loud music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
So you like to play a lot of different killers. How many? How many killers do you have? Like, or I guess if you have the majority of them, who do you not have?
Yeah, the only ones I don't have are oh god, the K-pop star. What's his name?
Trickster.
Yep. I don't have Trickster, I don't have Blight, and I don't have Pinhead yet. But I think it's only those three. I really do have like pretty much all of them.
Cool. All right. So, okay. So, this would be a lot better if I could actually watch a game, but honestly this is okay. I'll just kind of give you the base run through of like a bunch of loops, and we could just talk about it and do that thing.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I'll say too, I've definitely watched like dozens of like YouTube videos like about looping and about understanding all the different tiles, but like for some reason it's just not clicking, Well,
a lot of the things are, and this is the I really don't want to say this with like a bit. I'm not trying to say this with like an ego or like pride or anything, but like a lot of the videos on YouTube about loops are really generated towards public players, like public, just the standard like player. When like the pinnacle of like this gameplay is on the survivor side and killer side, but really like survivor side is in competitive. Like when you see what they do in competitive, and like you realize that, oh my gosh, what I do every time that gets me 4Ks in public matches, I literally can't even get like more than 2 hooks in a competitive game. Like you really see like, and it's honestly, it's the worst like realization ever. And honestly, I'm still coping with it. The fact that like that I could literally just play completely brain dead, completely shut my brain off, get 4Ks almost every game, and then go into a competitive game, sweat my ass off, and still get shit on.
And still,
because I'm playing either an underpowered killer, I screwed up with my generator, my 3-gen, I screwed up my pressure somewhere, I went for a chase too long, I did XYZ, and then you basically lose the game off of that mistake.
Right.
It's a really hard realization to deal with. So I would just say that, yeah. So I would just
know then I'll be dealing with that anyway.
So it's good that we're not gonna be dealing with this right currently. But I'm just gonna kind of go through just certain loops, and we're just gonna talk about generic M1 killers, because once you get the baseline, then you start to adapt against different killers, and you'll learn how to basically loop them and play against them better.
Awesome.
So let's just start. So yeah, there's a bunch of different types of tiles. I mean, I'm sure you notice how basically this is a tile, or like one of these. Okay, so that's a tile, and like all that stuff over there is a tile, and whatever. So there's different types of tiles in the map. There is there's a jungle gym. There is and the regular jungle gym is with the pallet on this side, and the window is over here. That's just a regular gym. This is a long wall jungle gym with the pallet on this side, and obviously you see the long wall over here. So this is a really strong loop. Honestly, it's probably one of my least favorite loop to go against this killer. So yeah, that's long wall.
Me too.
And then let's see here. We have, so this one over here is called seawall. People call it seawall. I call it a T-wall because this looks like the top of a T, and this is like the line that goes up. Doesn't really matter. Basically, this is like not a very safe loop against some killers. Others it's fine, but again, it's it's just kind of how you play it. So yeah, this is that. Let's see what else we have. Actually gave us a good bit of tile RNG, which is nice. All right, so this is a TL wall. Obviously you can see because this looks like an L and this looks like a T.
Yep.
So LT wall, TL, whatever. Okay, and then this is another long wall, and I think we got most of the generic ones covered. And then there's obviously like shack, and there's like the school bus and different like really strong loops and main buildings and all that stuff. But we'll just kind of go with the basics here, because more often than not, most maps have TLs, long walls, chims, all that stuff.
Awesome.
So let's just start with let's just start with this one.
Sure.
Okay. So I guess the way I'm going to talk about this in survivor and killer perspective, because knowing how to play against this type of stuff is you have to kind of know what the survivor wants to do. Know thy enemy, that type of shit. Okay, so the survivor wants their pathing. They want to run through here, and then they want to basically get a straight shot and vault this window because they get the fast vault. And then essentially the killer, I mean, if they go around this way, the survivor could just keep running around. If they come around this way, the survivor can keep running around. They can get the pallet and go to another loop. They can even, maybe just re-vault it, which they probably won't, but still. So essentially, basically, once the pallet is gone from the loop, essentially the loop is not useless per se. I mean, you could use the window, but you can't go through it iteration after iteration. So the main goal with M1 killers really is to either, obviously get a hit, but if you can render the loop useless quicker, that's good for you because you're not wasting time. So basically, if a survivor wants to run through the window or go through the window here, I'm obviously going to try, first see if they vault it. Like, I'll let them run through it once to see kind of what they do. Then they're gonna vault it. I'm gonna come through, and then I'm gonna try to chase them around this way because it's a shorter route.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a little bit shorter. Obviously they could still get the fast vault if they hit it the right angle here, which is tilting, but also you have this ability to where you can kind of come here, show your red stain, dip back around, and then hit them because you're on a shorter wall. This wall's a lot longer. You know, they can kind of see you at most of the times. So,
right.
So it's a little, you know. So this way is definitely better. And then usually if you come around, they'll vault this, or if they like try to fake it, then they'll end up coming here and going to the loop, dropping it, and then going to the next one, which is good for you because they only got through basically one window vault, 1 or 2 window vaults, which is nice.
Right.
So yeah, do you like try or dabble in any like moonwalking or anything with Killer or anything like that?
No, I haven't. I wasn't sure, like, you know, I've heard about it, and I know, like, kind of how it works on keyboard, but not so much like a controller.
Okay, so, all right, this loop right here is a really good example of that one. You can't really moonwalk because the survivor has pretty good line of sight on you most of the time during that loop. This one, however, is a little different because you have these tall-ass walls here. So this is kind of a good, especially at the T, that's kind of a good way to, you know, do that thing to like mind game and
that kind of, oh god, I'm sorry, I was thinking of survivor moonwalking.
Like that thing. Yeah, no, like I'm talking about killer moonwalking, like like moving backwards and stuff. Yeah.
So
Okay, good.
And honestly, I think one of my downfalls is I try to do that too often.
Okay.
You know, like I think like, oh, mind game time, let me just whip this one out, but like it doesn't always work, and I end up actually like creating more space, you know.
Well, it's appropriate in certain areas, and it's also like not appropriate in other areas. Like there's like, you know, I see a lot of times like killers will, you know, try to moonwalk when like I can literally just see their entire body. It's like that's not the point of a moonwalk. The point of a killer moonwalk is literally just to, you know, throw the, you know, the misconception that the killer's moving forward, they can see the red stain, like, oh, the killer's coming, I need to like vault the window, but you're in reality backing up, and then you just get an easy hit.
Right.
But a lot of killers do it at like these little filler loops, and they like, you know, they like try to like moonwalk the filler pallets. Like that's not really it.
Yeah, right. Like, you know, something that I might do pre this coaching session on this loop here is I see a survivor, you know, like vault the window here and see which way they're going.
Which one? The T or the O?
Oh, I mean
over here. So yeah, sorry.
So if I see them vault, I'll try to see like which way they turn.
Yeah.
And then I'll like moonwalk the other way. I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do at all, but that's something that I'll you know try to sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't, but I rarely ever vault it.
Yeah, so something cheeky like that you can do, and it actually gets you some hits more often than you think. But so if a survivor vaults the wall and they like start running, like let's just say they run to the left, my left.
Here we go.
You're right. So it's basically they would vault and you're like right behind them. You would basically like act like you move left, and they're gonna be like, ooh, I gotta move back right. And then as they're moving, you just quickly turn and vault.
Oh no.
And then they're like, oh, and then they're either here and they're like, oh shit, and then you get a hit, or they're like, I mean, they're just like, yeah, it's kind of, yeah. So that's something cool that people that you can do, where you're just like, you act like you're coming here, and then you just vault. So so TL walls honestly are like the biggest mind game for me. I feel like every window at a TL is a 50-50. You either get the mind game right, and they actually do vault, or you mind game, they don't vault. So it's, or you miss the mind game when you, it's just like, I feel like it's all a 50-50 at pallets, and it's just basically kind of how lucky you get, or how well you know how the survivor's been playing and whatnot, and how well you kind of both can read each other.
Sure.
But yeah, so essentially, the survivors are just gonna want to vault, and then they're obviously looking for the red stain, and then they're gonna come around here, and then they're gonna vault, and then kind of like, you know, that's literally like if a killer is like chasing them, kind of the suboptimal way of just like, oh no. Okay, so but usually it's a lot different. There's a lot more outside wall play and all that stuff, and the survivor will try to like they'll come around here, and then they'll be like, oh, he's gonna mind game you, so I'm gonna fake the vault and then come around here. So as killer, I would just say this is probably where you could really get good at your mind games. Here, this is like, honestly, this T-wall. I use this mind game so much. It's actually kind of like sickening how much I use this mind game. But yeah, I would say honestly this is a pretty big 50-50, these tiles. Just kind of depends on how it's played. I feel like at lower MMRs you get away with these mind games extremely or most of the time, just because like the fake window vaulting and all that stuff isn't really like seen that much at lower. But yeah, it's this is I mean, this tile is good against a lot of killers that people don't really realize, like Billy and Blight and all that jazz. So
sure.
Yeah, so it's each tile has its kind of own strengths against certain killers or whatnot, but we're just talking about main M1s here. So all right, let's go to the the T-wall here. They didn't give me a regular jungle gym, which is annoying.
Sure.
It's all right though. So.
Well, whoops. Are we going back to like kind of where we started?
We're going back like over here. No, you're fine.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yep. So all right, this is a T. Yeah. So the T-wall, basically, as a killer, the ideal situation is that you want to loop it around this way, just because it's shorter than that wall. Yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, this is the way you kind of want to loop it, just because of how, yeah, it's just a lot shorter than this end. And what survivors will do is they'll basically, because what killers will do is, since there's really no line of sight anywhere near this pallet, essentially they're just going to like try to like come here, and then they could just mind game the whole way around. They just walk backwards the whole way. So yeah, that's like, this is, killers try to mind game this. So what most good survivors will do is they'll just kind of pre-drop the pallet. Like, they won't really try to loop it the whole lot, unless they know the killer's like really just like whatever suboptimal. So a lot of survivors will tend to like, I'm trying to figure out which corner they stand at. I think it depends on the direction, but that the killer's coming from, but they either stand at this corner or this corner, just to see like, okay, if the killer, see if the killer is like actually trying to like mind game or actually come at them, and then they just go around the loop accordingly.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, so survivors kind of they like wait and watch and all that jazz. All right, so got it. All right, so that's T-wall. Let's go over to Shack a little bit and talk about Shack.
So it's basically just like find the shortest path around.
Yeah, but a lot of survivors, yeah, exactly. It's honestly about finding the shortest path. Like a lot of survivors. Let me see if there's a loop over here. That we could. Did we not get one over here? Oh, that's so sad. Wait, that's so sad. We didn't get one of these loops over here. Yeah, a lot of survivors will. I mean, obviously, sometimes you won't have a choice. Like, they're not gonna like just the survivors aren't gonna start looping around the short side. But if they do, I mean, yeah, fucking take that all day. But yeah. But yeah, so, and then honestly, it's just like little stuff like this as well. Like, try to, I mean, if you can, like, obviously this side is way shorter than this side. So.
Yep, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so obviously try to get them around this way if you can, like, so. And then this kind of actually brings up another topic of, this is a little bit more like, I would say like, I mean, I wouldn't say really advanced because it's not really anything special, but you're not doing anything special. It's more of just thinking about kind of like the whole map and its in sense and all that stuff. So think of it this way. This is actually a perfect pallet to do it. So if you drop the pallet on me, don't drop it, but I'm just saying, if you drop the pallet on me on where we're standing at right now, and I have to break that pallet, but then after I break that pallet, where can you go? You can go to Shack, you can go to that other tile, you have another strong loop or two after this pallet.
Right.
If you stand on the other side, where do you go?
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck in a dead
Corner
zone.
of the map, dead zone. Yeah. So this is called zoning, and it's really important for killers that lack in chases because they need every advantage they can get. Trapper, demo, wraith, the list goes on. So so if you drop it here and then I break it, it's easy stuff. But also knowing which way to run the survivors. So like sometimes I'll be like trying to think if I run. It's usually if I just like run this way with it. So if we get into the loop, just run around the long way because I'm probably not gonna. If I like get here, so I know right now that you'll probably drop that pallet like. Like probably now, which is the bad way to run you. Yeah, so you drop it now. So I would see that after the first iteration and be like, oh shit, I gotta run the other way. Just because I kind of like have the feeling and know that the distance I'll like cover.
Yeah.
We'll eventually get to the point of when I'm like close proximity, you'll drop that pallet. So I know like, which way to run, how many iterations I can go, that type of thing. So I kind of just, there isn't really anything like, there's nothing like constant about it. It's more just kind of how you feel, like which way they're gonna, just by experience of like which way you chase them, how close you're gonna get to them by the time they drop the pallet, and then which way are they gonna like which way they're gonna drop the pallet because you're running them this way.
Right.
So yeah, that's
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, oh god. Never mind. I think I totally forgot my question. All good. Oh wait, no wait. I do remember now. So how often are you like as killer respecting pallets or like taking the hit? I'm sure there's like a lot
more now because I don't get any like because that hit validation thing with the pallets. I used to get a lot of like cheap hits. Well, they looked legit on my end, but they looked really like cheap on Survivor's end.
Yep. I remember that.
So I probably respect it a little more now. I mean, especially because like I feel like respecting it is like really important now because of like we're such in a W key centric meta where basically everyone's just trying to get as much space as possible from killers, which is why a lot of M1 killers suffer. Because if you get pallets done, I mean, they can gain a lot of distance off that. So I would try to respect it. I would try to respect it more often.
Sure. Okay.
If you feel like, if you feel like you can legit, you might be able to get hit, or obviously you take the risk. If it's it's a public match, it doesn't matter. Take the risk and just, use that to gauge how you feel about making the swing or lunge at the survivor the survivor. So that's kind of that. So Shaq, oh boy, Shaq. Yeah, so
honestly a lot of the times this is a spot where I drop chase really quickly, and
that's good. Honestly, you should, because against insane, like really really good survivors, you won't be able to really do anything about it. So what the survivor wants to do is their pathing, they want to run in here because they get the wide they get the better angle to because this is more of like a harsh angle, and this is more of they can just kind of run straight at it, and they want to be able to get the fast vault. A lot of survivors, basically the way survivors loop is they want to be able to get fast vaults, because if they get slow or medium vaults, they're going to get hit. So they want to be able to loop a tile, a structure, shack, whatever, so they can get fast vaults, because if they're getting fast vaults, you can't really do anything unless they get caught on something or something like that. So they're going to want to come here. And then they usually come around here, and then they want to do the same thing and all that jazz and whatnot. And then sometimes they'll, like, if they see you, like, now what I do is killer sometimes. If I see they're trying to do it, I will vault. I'll come around this way, because if I come around this way, there's a chance that they could see my red stains throwing around. So I come around this way, vault, and then if they're at a certain point, realistically, you want to chase them around this way, because if they try to get window, they're at a really crappy angle again. So
yeah.
realistically, you want to do that. But if they're not really buying it, this is, I mean, very rare, but it's like kind of like cheeky. You go vault, 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 and then yeah, triple vaults really fuck some people up the first time around.
Yeah.
So like sometimes, yeah, and then they'll be like around probably this corner or whatnot, and they'll be like, oh crap, and then you get a free hit. But it's really risky because if you know, you're basically chasing them around the area, or you're chasing them the way that they want to be chased. That's why it's really risky.
Yeah.
Also, the thing that you have to worry about with vaulting is that if you vault back here and they notice that, what they're gonna do is they're gonna waste more time, and they're just gonna wrap this long side, and then it's kind of over for you at that point. So kind of in a way, you want them to kind of get this pallet out of the way. That's like the best case scenario is what you want them to get the pallet out. So chase
my
them.
first chase at the top of the game is Shaq. I will try to beat that pallet just to like get it done.
Yeah, and it's and like honestly, and this is where really where pubs and competitive differ a lot is pallet usage. Pubs, they're like, people will rage quit if you like throw the quote unquote god pallet early in the game, because it's like such a good pallet, you know, you loop so well, that crap. In comp, people against M1 killers, people pre-drop pallets, pre-drop almost every pallet. They do not hold on to a pallet because they don't expect chases to last super long. They value getting the extra time and extra distance over keeping a pallet up. And they will pre-drop that. They will pre-drop Shaq as fast as humanly possible. Obviously not like just stupidly, but like if they're like somewhat close, they'll just drop it and just be like, all right, I'm gonna get more distance, go to the next loop and drop it. Next loop. Meanwhile, because they know my three teammates are literally just hammering gens as fast as humanly possible. And you know, if he keeps chasing me, or if I'm able to, you know, keep the chase up for long enough, then you know the game's gonna be over. So and then also what they'll do is they'll realize that okay, if gens are over there and I'm in chase with you, Survivor's gonna be like, okay, I know I'm gonna go down, so I'm just gonna run all the way to the corner of the map and then let him down me, so he is as far away from gens as possible.
Oh, huh. It's a
very frustrating experience. But also the killer gameplay is extremely different as well because of the like camping, tunneling. That's all not even it's not even acceptable, it's expected. If you don't camp or tunnel, you're probably gonna lose. Like I'm talking, pick them up second time, they DS you better down them and hook them again. Like it's like you tunnel through DS. If you have like a really strong hook, camp them to second phase, then you can leave just so you get your points, because it's all a points game. If you like, you know, literally just map out your 3-gen at the beginning of the game, because you know you're eventually going to get there at some point, because it's like, you know, it's really hard for killers to win. Unless you're you know, playing against a weak team, or you're playing a really good killer, or you know, a killer that you're extremely proficient at. So
and whenever at the end of a game I get a message from a Survivor team that like 3-gen themselves and then accuse me of camping, like
exactly. No, it's like like honestly, if you get a hook like in your 3-gen, it's like that's like gold. It's like literally gold. You're like, but people don't understand, because they're like, oh, I'm gonna lose 2-3 gens, whatever. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. If you just sit your 3-gen, you get someone out of the game, you can't win. So
yeah, and that is something that I do try to like stay on top of as well. That like, you know, I really do want to try to find that 3-gen. I don't care if other gens go off so much, you know, that are outside of that. That is something I really try to stay on.
And again, that's why it's hard to coach. Like it's easier to coach competitive, because you have like these definitive like things you look for, like where's my 3-gen, could you have camped here? Should you have committed for this chase? You know, that. With pubs, it's like I can't really like say good job because the survivor played like dog shit. Like it's really like it's like I know that like that was good on your part. Obviously, you capitalized on his mistake. I know it was good on your part, but like it wasn't like killer wise. It wasn't like optimal, or it wasn't like good, or it wasn't because I know it would just get torn to pieces in a competitive game. That's why it's really hard to do the whole coaching thing with this, because it's weird. Because a lot of what the killer does is based on what the survivor does, and so it's a lot of it's reactionary. So it's like, yeah, you did the good job, but like it really shouldn't happen. But yeah, so all right, let's talk about. All right, so yeah, then there's just like the generic filler palettes, like I just showed you. Yeah, like obviously you would want to loop them around this way.
Okay, so here's another like general question that I have in terms of identifying. I'm probably gonna use the wrong terminology, but like identifying a safe pallet or like an unsafe pallet. Like, okay, so let's say a survivor drops the pallet, being able to identify: do I break it here or do I just keep continuing chase?
Okay, so the difference between safe and unsafe pallets. So basically, the difference between a safe and unsafe pallet is a safe pallet is where you can like. If you throw the pallet, it basically directly blocks the killer's route to get to the survivor. So so like even if you drop the pallet, even if I try to go around, mind game, doesn't matter. There's so much distance to cover in between the pallet and the survivor, that area around the pallet, it's considered safe, because it doesn't matter what the killer does, you cannot hit the survivor if that pallet's down. Therefore you break. I mean, you want to break most pallets, but sometimes it's okay to not. Like this pallet is not safe. Obviously, it's a lot safe. This is a lot safer loop for the survivor, because obviously there's the damn window here, freaking OP window, and then I have to like kick this thing. But yeah, so like these pallets, very safe.
Yeah.
Why? Because if I drop it and you don't kick it and you try to go around here, well, I'm just gonna vault the window. Okay, good game. So. A lot of the, like, let me try to think of some other ones. Like, these are, instant break. I mean, any jungle gym is instant break. Just kind of put that in your brain. Any jungle gym is instant break.
Sure. But like, basically.
Oh, here's a regular jungle gym. Oh, there we go. Nice. Okay. Oh. So yeah. So basically, the survivor wants to come around here. They want to come this way, vault this window. And then even if the survivor comes around this way, you still have an easy straight shot to the pallet.
Yep.
That's like the generic way you kind of want to run it. If you know the survivor's going to drop the pallet, something cheeky that killers do is like they'll like know, and then they'll just like run around here, and then they could get an easy hit like somewhere around here. But yeah, usually again, it's just auto break, shack auto break, stuff in like mid and around these filler loops. A lot of them aren't. I'm trying to think of one that's like really unsafe that I could just give an example. It's not on this map. I don't know. There's just some where like if they camp the pallet, or like if you just go around, you can get out of it. Any like pallets like that. That's kind of the difference between safe and unsafe.
Got it. So basically, if there's ways around the pallet,
if there's ways around the pallet that doesn't hinder your ability to hit the survivor, then it's considered unsafe. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, every single pallet in like Raccoon City Police Department
is god tier. Yeah, pretty much.
Got it. Yeah. Hate that, man. Yep. Anyway,
everyone does. I don't really know why it's there. All right. Yeah, it's horrible. Don't even get me started. Okay, so I mean, they're just literally god pallets everywhere. I mean, there's literally pallets where just like you can't do anything but break it. Like you can't even like get to that portion of the map without breaking it. It's like
it's just long straight lines of holding W with
exactly
right in a row.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let's see, what else can we do? Trying to think of other possible loops that we could talk about. Let's talk about some Autohaven stuff. Like Yeah, I just
it's
DC'd.
not a time limit. Oh, okay, got
Yeah,
it.
let's talk about like crane and bus and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, man, tractor. Those
Yeah,
always get me.
God. So yeah, I would probably just do Wreckers is fine. Well, hold on. Yeah, Wreckers is good. So, yeah, but so you said you have like how many hours? Would you say 250, something like that?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay,
about 250.
Okay. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's honestly just it's learning kind of like the baseline looping is probably the best thing I can like say, like learning how to loop survivors with like the generic killer is probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I think part of it too is kind of refreshing some of my map knowledge too. So actually, I had this one game the other day. It was on the psych ward one, the treatment theater, whatever. And I was death slinger, and I was actually so proud of myself on this play. So I was chasing survivor like up to that like second floor area that overlooks the main theater, operating theater.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the bill was just going to keep running past this window. So as death slinger, I stopped moving and shot him through the window and was able to like pull him in and down him there.
Yeah.
So that was just like, okay, I just know that there are windows here. So if I just stop moving, I mean, of course, Death Slinger is probably like it doesn't really count.
No, I mean, every killer takes some sort of brain knowledge and skill to play. It's not like there's one that's just completely like brain dead.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like I couldn't pull something off like that like with any other killer, basically. I mean, maybe like Huntress.
Yeah, that makes sense. But all right, let's talk about.
Yeah, I'm up on the hill, by the way. I'm just looking out for you.
Oh, I'm by the big crane, yellow crane.
Oh, the crane. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there you are. All right.
So let's talk about the crane. Yeah, this is a pretty good loop. Not gonna lie. Yeah,
oh, whoops! I went to a tractor, not a.
Oh,
not a crane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
see
the big crane.
Yeah.
And I'm getting spine chill, so now I'm getting close. All right.
All right. So, yeah, kind of the way you want to run it. As a obviously survivor, you want to run it this way. And then a lot of them, if they don't have enough distance, they tend to want to save the pallet and just go for the window. Whereas the killer, kind of the only thing you can do is like kind of hover around this way and then see, and then like kind of work your way over here. And then as soon as they vault, you're over here ready to hit them. Other than that, there really isn't much you can do as an M1 killer. Not gonna lie. Yeah, if they have all the distance in the world, they'll just continue to run it around this way. And then what they'll do is they'll hold their camera in such a position where they can see through this line in between the crane and the wheels. They'll loop it and they'll hold their camera in a way where they can kind of see the killer's body as well. So it's not really mind gameable either. Plus, there's just so much distance, so even if it wasn't there, it wouldn't matter.
Got it.
Because they would just sit at a corner. Yeah.
So then, are you kind of doing this for like one go around, two go arounds, and then dropping the chase? Or what would you?
Sometimes I get lucky hits when they come off the crane. Obviously, if I was playing M1 Killer and they started looping this, I'd probably just leave it pretty instantly as soon as they ran over here, and then just kind of go elsewhere. To be honest, and every time they go over there, just drop chase. If there's like a gen over there, then you're really kind of just like screwed. To be honest.
Yeah.
And I guess you want to get just get the pallet down. That's kind of goal number one for M1 killers. All right, let's see here. Where's the bus? Is it on?
It's not back in that.
Did it not spawn? Oh, I guess not. Wait, does bus even spawn on this map? Yeah, it does. I guess it didn't spawn. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Weird. All right. So this one, let's see Where'd you go?
I'm back at the hill.
Okay.
Oh, the tractor.
Yeah. This one's pretty straightforward. Survivors just want to come in here. They can get the fast vault as possible if they just hug this line and then they just loop through. And then you just want to chase them around. This really isn't that big of a deal for killers, because like if they don't like vault it, where they're gonna go. So usually you just kind of want to like check to see if they vault it and then just work your way around here. And it's pretty difficult to get the fast vault. So even though like they're taking you like through here, sometimes it's okay to commit and just like you might be able to lunge and get a hit if they don't get fast vault. So
Sure.
yeah, so that's kind of that.
So gotcha. So it's basically just kind of hang out like near the stairs.
Yeah. So let's see here. This one, I would say it's semi-safe. I would say it's pretty semi-safe. Just because they can loop it still.
Yeah.
They can still loop it even if you go around. Oh yeah, and this, I forgot about the 3 lanes. 3 lanes, 4 wall, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Yeah, usually survivors want to come through here, get this window vault off, and then they want to, basically just get the window vault off. That's kind of their main goal. And then it's a lot of it's like freestyle sort of with this loop, just depending on kind of how the killer paths is what I notice a lot. Some people will vault it back again just so they can get to the pallet quicker. This pallet is not safe just because like you have this area where you drop the pallet. I'm here. Sometimes, usually they'll just go and get the vault, which they do get the vault if I go around. Or sometimes they like, they will like if they're, if the pallet's dropped and I come around this way, like they vault it, I get a hit. If they don't vault it, I can, you moonwalk and hit them. It's kind of just how, how you play it.
Right.
But a lot of the times, though, you save the most time by just traversing through the loop, letting them drop it, letting them hit you. Or, I mean, not letting them hit you. Letting them drop it, you get rid of the pallet. That's usually how you, like, honestly, and it's like the most basic, boring crap ever. But, like, that's a lot of the time is how you, like, waste the least amount of time. Is by just traversing through it normally, just let them drop the pallet, and then you're good. Like overall, sometimes you get good mind games. You get cheeky and you get a good hit that you normally wouldn't get, which is like why mind games are also a risk, but also the reward is pretty good too. So, but yeah, like even like so like I'll like see trappers or like whatever the killers, and I'll be like looping them here, and they'll be like, they try like mind. I'm like, bro, why? I see you. It's like. But something cool that can also work is like all you need on these short loops is just a hesitation from survivors. You don't need them to literally like run in your face for you to hit them. All you need is that little hesitation so you can come around and get them. So a good thing to do is like to disguise your character model within the pallet. So you don't do any movement until you get in the pallet, and then you can either like stop for a sec, go straight, and then back up and then flip around. So any kind of hesitation, that's like the best way to go about it. I would say, because there's certain loops where like when the survivor comes around, they're on short side. And then if they come around here, they have this long way around. Some killers benefit a lot from like chasing them down that long path, like Demo. Having them come through the long way is good for his shred because he can charge it when he's turning around and get it. Sometimes, I mean, it's very rare that that really happens, but sometimes. Trying to think. Usually doesn't matter for stuff like this. You just kind of want to pick which way you want them to drop the pallet on, then you just break it and go.
Sure.
Let's see what else we got. Oh. I think that is. I think that's everything. I think that's most of the loops. There's like these truck loops and stuff, and like honestly, it's just like you just want to get rid of the pallet. M1 killer is very tedious because like it's really hard to like stomp. It's not like I'm playing nurse or something like that where looping is meaningless, and it's more of like a line of sight battle and a huge mind game battle, but more often like a line of sight battle. It's just like different. It's honestly a different game. But yeah, M1 killer is just very tedious, and I don't know, knowing where the survivors, like how the survivors want a path and trying to counteract that is kind of really the best way to do it. Whether it's through a mind game, whether it's just traverse, and just having the knowledge that, oh, I cannot hit this person here, no matter how hard I try. Let me just get rid of the pallet. That's also like good knowledge to know.
Sure.
I'm trying to think what else there could be. I'm
just curious. This is sort of off topic, but in terms of like the killer selection, who do you think are like some of the strongest killers in the game right now? Not saying like, oh, well, great, I'll just go play all of those, but I'm just curious about your opinion.
Nurse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how I Nurse 1, Blight 2, Spirit 3.
Huh. Thanks.
Yeah, that would be probably my S tier.
Those like 3 killers I've like never played.
Yeah, honestly, on PS, on PlayStation, you don't really need to touch Nurse. It's just it's not fun. It's just because you need to have a really quick camera movement, be able to flick around everything and whatever. But I would say Nurse, Blight, Spirit, just because of all the Blight mains I've been around recently, and they've infected my brain with all these like this stuff about Blight, where I just see so much like the power that he can wield and the pressure he has. So I would just say like Spirit, yes, the unpredictability, which now probably isn't going to be a thing anymore. Lamau just completely ruined her, but because so I would say Blight, just because of the pressure he provides, and and Spirit, just like if you mess up a phase, it sucks because you're just you're just moving and like a normal killer, a little bit slower or whatever. So I would say that. I would just say Blight because of that reason. I feel like I just feel like it's obviously harder to loop a Spirit, like overall, just because of the unpredictability. But now that's gone to hell in a handbasket. So now Spirit's going to be very predictable, and you can literally track her through every loop, and it's going to be super easy to play against her. Because before, people don't know that, but before you could actually tell when Spirit phases.
I thought there was a tell. She does something, or I remember there's some kind of like an animation with her body.
You'll see, so you'll see like if she stops moving, she'll do like the hand gesture or whatever, and like the whatever neck and all that crap. But if it's not perfectly in sync, like the animation plays kind of on like a set time thing, is what I noticed. Like the hands and all that stuff. If you don't sync that perfectly, which no one really freaking does, and no one cares to think, because it doesn't matter, because most people don't pay attention to it. But if you sync it and you interrupt it while you're phasing, it almost looks like she resets, or her body shifts, her shoulders shift as soon as she phases. It's like almost looks like she like resets really quick. It's kind of tough to tell, but it's and then also there are certain skins with that are bugged with Spirit, where like if you phase with her, like you'll see this random black strand of hair just jet out as soon as she phases. So people in like comp know that, and so you just gotta basically you can't play those cosmetics, so pay to win.
Well, a killer that I've like kind of really grown to like a lot too is Nemesis.
Okay.
And a couple reasons why I like him. Once you get to like phase 2 of the infection, I like that quicker pallet break animation.
Mm-hmm.
Or just being able to like hit people over a pallet, is still super helpful.
Yes.
I never use that if I'm just in a regular chase, but if somebody's like vaulting or doing something with the pallet, then that's when I'll whip out the tentacles. And it just goes to show like how much of a baby killer I am. But the perk that he has, where the auras of their survivors, show up right at the beginning of the match, I know it's not helpful after those 7 seconds, but I have found, maybe it's just coincidence, that still being able to break up multiple survivors right at the beginning of the match itself totally helps, though.
It's a great perk. No, it's a great perk. It's a great perk.
Good. I think I've seen some chatter online where people are like, what a dumb perk.
It's a great perk. Fantastic perk.
It's chaos at the beginning.
Yep, it is a great perk. Yeah, really good perk. Yeah. So
thanks for validating me there.
Yeah. No, it's a really good perk. Nemesis is. I have some issues with Nemesis just because if you think about it, if you only hit them with tentacles, it's basically a 3-hit down, and on top of it, so that means survivors get three speed boosts every time they get hit. So. It's just that much longer to hit them, to kill them. So a lot of the times what I do is if I just go for the punch, because and then if it's like something I know I can't punch, then I'll just get a tentacle, because then I'll get the infection state and I'll be fine. And I'll just be like, that's fine, I don't, whatever. But like if I have the ability to punch, it's you're done. I'll rather take that because it's an easy down. Because a lot of times you get those free punches because they're afraid of the mind game with the tentacle. So, and then also at the same time, I don't like how I think survivors should be punished for dropping those pallets like really stupidly, or like pre-dropping pallets, where I wish the tentacle would hit the survivor and collateral with the pallet. It's really annoying when you get a hit on a survivor but you can't capitalize because you still have to break the pallet again. So I think that's kind of whatever. That kind of keeps him out of like being a pretty good killer in my opinion. But other than that, I mean, he's fun. He's fine. Let's see. As far as killers, I would suggest to play. I would say just to kind of learn the baseline and just get a good solid base, I would say Wraith.
Okay, I'm so sick of playing Cannibal. I do not want to play him anymore. So please don't say Cannibal.
Okay, good. That was gonna be my next one, so I won't say it. Wraith, Doctor. Yeah, Wraith and Doctor. That's fine.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Doctor. I mean, you just dabble with them. Honestly, it's personal preference. I hate playing the same killer time and time and again. So those are just kind of two killers, and also Demo would be kind of nice too. Those are just killers that kind of go with the traditional route of looping, and so it would be good to just kind of see how that works, and just to see take what you've gained and then try to like do that. Let me see. Yeah, I kind of like quickly brush through like a bunch of the loops. Obviously there's a lot more to talk about with stuff like that. Let me see if there's, hold on. Let me just look something up here. Yeah, I mean, there really isn't really isn't much information I want about it, to be honest. Okay, so honestly, yeah, but I would just kind of go through it, and then I think basically I just kind of showed you the pathing the survivors want to take, what you want to stop them from doing, a few tricks here or there.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Stop it, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's if you have questions or anything, you can just you could just chat to me whenever, and I can help with that.
Sure. Well, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Let's see here. All right.